palette is in. Well, apparently it has been in. I didn't know, and I checked the mailbox. I'm like, where is it? It said it arrived, and turns out my husband had gotten the mail, put it on the counter, and did not tell me that I got it. So it's been sitting in the house, and I had no idea. But I am doing the Tinker Bell. I did not do the full collection from Colourpop, but I did get the Tinker Bell palette. It says, sprinkle a little magic. I actually really like the colors in this palette. I was debating on doing, now that I see the pinks in here. You know what? No, I'm gonna go with the greens like I had first thought because it's Tinker Bell. I feel like you have to go green. So the first one is, I'm gonna go all over with Sleep, which is right here. Why is my brush so firm? There is fallout per usual with Colourpop. I did already prime my lids. I just used my Unique primer. And I went with a super simple look today. I just have on my Unique BB cream, and I did no blush, no bronzer. I did powder the crap out of it with my Fenty Beauty setting powder. This brush is not wanting to cooperate today. It's like really, really firm. I must have not dried it enough when I cleaned it. That sucks. Okay. But today has been a fun day. My son had his first baseball practice. We were a little skeptical about going because when we signed him up, we didn't realize how long the practices were. I guess we were used to in Indiana, the team that we were on before. It was 45 minutes twice a week. On a weekend you had your game, which would go, more than 45 minutes probably. But the practice was one day a week during, for 45 minutes. I don't know why, but it is not getting any color right here. And maybe, I have some BB cream on there and it's just not sticking. I don't know, maybe I went a little farther down with my BB cream. You really have to build this color up because it is just wanting to that's it. So you do have to really build it. It is kind of patchy, but it could be this brush too. Let me see. I'm gonna switch brushes to one that I know works. My kid got some stuff. What is everyone doing today? I know today means a lot of different things for a lot of different people. Being that today is 9/11, our neighborhood put up a bunch of these little flags at the entrance of the neighborhood, and our oldest asked why all the flags were out. And my husband said that today is a historical day for our country. And he was like, so people put those out in honor of what today is. And of course, our son, I'm just going to see if it's the brush makes any difference over here. Not really. A little bit. He asked, what happened? Why it's a historical day. We tried to keep it as, neutral as we could have without getting into too many details because he is only 5. But we ended up having a conversation about it, and the sad thing is, it kind of reminds me of, me when this first happened, because it was 20 years ago. I was in 3rd grade, And he's like, why would somebody do that? Like, how does that even happen? Like, it's so sad to try and even describe that. And back then, like, I remember being in third grade, and you guys share your stories. Like, what was it like for you? For me, I am originally from New York. I moved to Indiana, and then we moved back to New York. It was like a back and forth between Indiana and New York, but New York is my hometown, my home state. And I just remember the teachers going into the hall. That was sleep. I'm going to go in with Tink. And all the teachers were in the hall, and they were talking with each other. Ooh, that's so pretty. And nobody really knew what was going on. But when they came back, it really wasn't like a normal class day. My mom worked at my school, and she chose to take us out of school, and we went across the street from the school to my mom's best friend's house. And we got there, and my mom was upset, obviously, and crying, and her friend was upset. And back then, they don't have like the communication the way we do now to be able to easily reach those you care about and make sure they're okay and things like that. That's so pretty. My mom and her best friend just sat there watching, the news and on the phone with family and friends. I'm gonna go in with Neverland, which is this color right here. And I remember not knowing what really was going on, but then watching the TV and being, even more confused by everything. I guess it's not as dark as I was thinking it would be. And now looking back on it as a kid, obviously back then I was confused. And it was a scary time, and you don't know what is happening, what's going on. But now as a parent, looking back on that with having kids, like that had to have been so hard to explain to your children that are old enough to somewhat understand, or even having to have that kind of a conversation with your children about what is happening. Was, obviously such a horrible day, but it was, it's amazing to see how we as people act and treat each other and take care of each other during those times. It looks a little bit muddy with that first color I used, just because it's somewhat patchy. But those shimmers went on perfectly. I don't know, I'm just curious to hear other people's stories, because I know sometimes I have a different perspective or story than other people do, especially because it depends on how old you were, how you understood it and how you took it and things like that. That's not the right brush. I'm gonna go in with Pixie Dust. Ooh, that is so pretty. It would be even prettier if I applied it with my finger, but I prefer doing the inner corner, honestly, with a brush, because I can have a little more control over it. This does have fallout. I don't know if you can see it with the camera, but I mean, that's to be expected from all this shimmer. This is such a pretty palette though. And it's got your neutrals in here, so I could literally easily just apply like these two colors and this, and then maybe go under it with one of the greens, which is what I had thought about doing. I am going to darken it up in the corner just a tad, just to use a little bit more of the color story. Gosh, these brushes, like, I don't know why they're being so stiff today. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go in with Awake, which is right here. And then I'm just gonna place it in this corner. Just add a little bit more depth. That is such a pretty color. And it really goes in with that Neverland color. Honestly, I've never been a big Peter Pan fan. I don't know why, the movie just never, like, spoke to me, I guess, but my son loves Peter Pan. Like, Tinker Bell is his favorite character. Just gonna blend that and clean the brush. So pretty. But yeah, his favorite is Peter Pan. Oh my god, his favorite is Tinker Bell from Peter Pan. And I've had to sit there and watch it again and again and again and again. Alright, so I am going to take some of Awake, which is this color, and line right here. And then I'm going to buff it with that Sleep, which is that first all over lid color that I use. If there was like a really pretty purple in here, or even a yellow, I probably would have used that to blend, but there's not. And I didn't want to take that Awake all the way because I didn't want such a harsh, like, line. And I'm getting fallout. It's okay. But today we, at my son's game, it was literally so much fun. It was like, we're in Florida. It's the hottest part of the day. It's noon. And they practiced almost 2 hours, which seems like a lot to me for their age. But literally, he was like one of the youngest or smallest kids on his team. I was like, oh my gosh. He's trying to catch up to these kids while they're running bases, and he just looks so tiny. I kind of question if we put him in the correct, like, age group, but they said we did when we signed him up. All right. It's a little bit intense for, like, a natural all-over look that I got going on, but that's okay. Such a pretty color. Such a pretty thing. I honestly could have put the gold on there, but I feel like it's shimmery enough. I really expected to like this palette just because it is Colourpop, and Colourpop is overall, like, you know, they usually don't disappoint. I was trying to figure out where to shove this palette on down with it. Oh, no, not working. Okay. I've got so many palettes in there, it's like overwhelming. I am just going to go in easy with some mascara and to finish this look, and then we are done. I know it's not part of the review, but I feel like lashes, like I say in these videos, really make the eye look come together. I really should learn or work on applying, like, some false lashes, but I feel like whenever I do the magnetic liner, I don't know, I like just either don't get it low enough on the lash line, it just looks wonky. They make my eyes feel heavy. And just, I guess I'm just simple. I like my mascara, and I call it a day. I'm gonna wipe off some of that fallout when I'm done. But otherwise, I would say that this was a really, really good palette. And I do want to take a moment while I'm on here to thank those men and women and every person that helps this country be as safe and amazing as it can be, and all of those who participated in helping 20 years ago today and that have continued to help this country since then, and obviously before then, but just because today is 9/11, that is what I was focusing on. And if you notice, like, look at these lashes. And this is all like one dip in here. I don't know if you can hear it, but my neighbor's dogs are barking, and that's like all I was hearing in the background. This is such a pretty palette. All right, that is that for this. I really like the palette. If you like greens or even some of like the mauve-y neutrals, this palette is definitely for you. Colourpop has raised their prices. I can't remember. I think it was like $16 for this palette, but it is super, super pretty. And that is it for this review. If you have any questions, let me know, or if there's anything you would like to see coming up, let me know, and I will try and get those ordered. That way I can do a review of them also. But I do, like I said before, want to say thank you to all, like everybody that has served our country or is serving our country. You guys are the real MVPs, and everything you do does not go unnoticed. We appreciate it. All right, bye everyone.